Hello, this is Jim Stockstill, bringing you exciting teaching from the program entitled The Handwriting on the Wall. Now, I want to explain to you something that the Bible prophecy is based mainly on the Mideast. Western preachers have taken it and applied it to the prophecy to Western culture. Seven Hills of Rome, Russia being the bear, different things like that. But what is really Daniel's vision of the empires that would come on the earth is strictly those empires that would come after Babylon. During his reign there, his time there in Babylon, then King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream that which paralleled Daniel's vision and of the kingdoms that would come, and it was all Mideast kingdoms. Now, there had already been a few kingdoms up to the Babylonian Empire. There had already been the Egyptian Empire, and there had been the Assyrian Empire. So Babylon was the third Mideast empire that would come upon the Mideast. And so I want to bring that to you in detail. The bear in Bible prophecy is Medo-Persia is always the bear. Now, Western interpretation, the bear is Russia. All right, and the lion in Bible prophecy is Babylon, but the lion in Western civilization is Great Britain. So you see where we have the problems. As long as you're trying to, those of you who are scholars out there, and those of you who are pastors out there, as long as you're trying to put Western interpretation to this Bible, you're going to get confused. And that's the problem we have right now. Jack Van Impe's having. He's seeing Islam rising up, and that is the beast that is being restored. It's not Rome, and he's still trying to equate the things. And he's a great man of God, and he's done greater things probably than I'll ever do. But he's hanging on to something, and so is Hal Lindsey, who's a wonderful man of God and is brave, and he tells it like it is, still trying to relate Western interpretation with Eastern prophecy. So what I'm saying is, God meant for the world to look at the Mideast when they interpreted Bible prophecy. That is His land. Israel is His land. Israel is one of the littlest nations in the world, and the whole world is centered on Israel. And that's what He says in Zechariah. In the last days, He's going to cause all the nations to come down upon Israel. And that's what He says in Ezekiel. You know, He's going to gather all nations against Israel, and Israel is going to whip them. Israel's going to whip them. David's going to kill Goliath. So with that said, I want to tell you a little bit I want to tell you a mystery. And I want you to try to understand this mystery, because it's a great mystery. And it's wonderful that it's being solved in the last days. Seal up these teachings, Daniel. I'm going to seal it up. It's for the last days, for the very end of time. You can't understand it until now. It's starting to unfold. I tried to understand this, and finally it's starting to unfold for me. But it's for a king to search out a matter, and we are kings and priests unto God, and it's for us to search out a matter. I'm not just going to spoon feed and throw out wonderful information to people who aren't seeking God. I want, freely I give this, but I want people to search it. Once you get it, you may not understand it for months or years. Now, we don't have time to put it off that long, so you might not understand it. If you meditate on it, you will get it. Walid Shabbat, to me, is the greatest end-time prophet that we have right now as far as scriptural interpretation. Joel Rosenberg is very good. And you should read these guys. You should study these guys. No one has a complete answer. We have bits and pieces of a great puzzle, and we're putting the puzzle together. But we're coming into consensus. So I've said a lot now. So I'm going to tell you who the mystery Babylon is today, and I'm going to tell you who the woman that sits on the scarlet beast, who she is, who the scarlet beast is. So bear with me. The Apostle John is speaking, and he says that he saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Then he goes on in verse 5, it reads, this is from the King James, chapter 17 of Revelation. And in verse 5 it reads, and on her forehead a name was written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and the abominations of the earth. The angel appears to John and tells him that he will explain the mystery. He begins by saying, here's a mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. The Message Bible translates this a little bit better and makes it understand. It says the 7 heads are 7 hills. They are where the woman sits. They, referring to the 7 hills, are also 7 kings. Now, I'm going to clarify this. It makes perfect sense. This will make perfect sense if we understand that what he's saying here is that a clear translation is the woman sits on 7 hills. These hills are also 7 kingdoms. Instead of 7 kings, 7 kingdoms. And that could be translated either way in the Greek. Kings could be translated kingdom. So hills, mountains could be translated hills. It's not the 7 hills of Rome. The woman is sitting on 7 kingdoms. On 7 kingdoms. That's the number of kingdoms that would be on the Mideast. And then there would be the 8th, which would be the very end kingdom. So she's sitting on 7 kingdoms. Okay? The angel goes on to say, 5 kingdoms have fallen. One is presently, and the other has not yet come, and when it comes, it must continue for a short time. So, here's what it's saying. John's sitting here. 5 of them have come. Alright, 5 of them have come. You follow me? 5 of them, Egypt, Assyria, alright, Babylon, alright, Medo-Persia, and Greece. Those have already come and they're gone. John is standing there. The 7th kingdom is Rome. So the 6th kingdom is Rome here. So you got 5 has fallen, 1 is, that's the one John is, and that's Rome. Okay? Now, the 7th one is not Rome. The 7th empire in the Mideast started in 600 BC under Mohammed II, continued into 1921. It evolved into the Great Ottoman Empire, which after the World War I was destroyed was eliminated. Britain eliminated the Ottoman Empire. So you've got all these years from 600 AD, I hope I didn't say BC, 600 AD to 1921 AD. you have this great Muslim empire with its seat in Turkey, and it ruled the entire Mideast. So that is the seventh empire. So the eighth empire will be the seventh restored. And Western teachers have been trying to make that Rome is and the Pope and all that, but that's not what it is. The angel says, the beast that was and is not, and it's talking about a beast empire, is himself also the eighth. So the beast that was, or the beast empire, is the Ottoman Empire. That was, is also the eighth, and is of the seven. So it makes that the seven, and is going to perdition. So the angel says, and when he comes, he must continue a short time. The beast that was and is not is himself also the eighth, and is of the seven, and is going to perdition. So we could clarify this by saying the beast empire that was and is not right now is itself also the eighth, and is of the seven. This was meant for us to unravel. And the way it's written and the way it's translated is a brain teaser. But it's the Ottoman Empire. Pergamus, if you go to Revelation, is the seat of the Antichrist, is where the devil's seat is. If you'll read the admonitions to the churches, Pergamus is in Turkey. So we're finding out where the seat of Satan is going to be. Turkey is going to be revised in just a few. It is already starting its internal transfiguration. It's been changed to a completely Muslim Islamic state, and it's running the Christians out. Okay, the first part of the riddle. The seven heads of the beast are seven mountains on which the woman sits. They are also seven kingdoms. Okay, 5 kingdoms have fallen, and I've said that already. There are Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece. One kingdom is, and that's the kingdom of Rome. The 7th kingdom that ruled the Mideast was Islam, and it ended up being the Ottoman Empire. And the empire which has not yet come is the restoration of the Ottoman Empire. So I will pretty well explain that. That's the first part of the riddle. Now, the second part of the riddle. The angel explains that the 10 horns are 10 kings who have received no kingdom as yet, but they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. So, this is going to be a present day restoration of the empire. The 10 kings that is on that beast are 10 kings that are going to show their heads in the last days. That's 10 nations in the Islamic Empire, and they're going to rule with the Antichrist, who will show his head pretty soon, if he hasn't already, and they will be with him. And their whole purpose is to give the power to him. And so here's who I think the 10 are, and I may be wrong on it. It's going to be 10 Mideast nations. 10 Mideast nations. It could very well be Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, Iran, Iraq, Arabia, Libya, and Turkey, and Ethiopia. I'm not completely sure. Egypt has a strong group of Coptic Christians, and God may spare them. They haven't wanted to receive Sharia law. They rebelled against it, thank God. Our politicians can't see 5 inches in front of their face. They don't know that Bible prophecy is being fulfilled. So, as our politicians used to seek the Bible and knew what to do because they were Christians, our politicians are lost, except for a very few. Very few. You can't handle any of this that's coming on this world naturally now. The third part of the riddle concerns Mystery Babylon. Now you're going to have to search this out. There's more verses for this. In Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20, Jeremiah explains that Mystery Babylon is Arabia. He says, therefore hear the counsel. Now this is under the old Babylon was in Saudi Arabia. We've always heard it was Persia or Iran. We always heard it was Iraq, not Persia. We always heard it was Iraq, and it is present day Babylon, but under the old geographical boundaries, under the boundaries of the Babylonian Empire, Babylon is Saudi Arabia. So he's explaining. He says, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he has taken against Edom. Look up Edom in Moody Bible Dictionary and see who Edom is. It's Saudi Arabia. He says, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he has taken against Edom, and his purposes that he has purposed against the inhabitants to man. Surely the least of the flock shall cast them out. Surely he shall make their dwelling place desolate with them. The earth shakes at the noise of their fall. At the cry, its noise is heard at the Red Sea. The Red Sea borders Saudi Arabia. Behold, he shall come up and fly like the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. The heart of the mighty men of Edom in that day shall be like the heart of a woman in birth pains. So, in summary, we can say that 7 mountains in the Mideast have come and gone, and the 8th kingdom is presently rising up. The 8th kingdom will be called the Beast Kingdom, and the beast will be the Antichrist, and he will rule from his throne in Turkey. 10 of these kingdoms will rule with the Antichrist briefly, and they will hate the harlot, make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. God will use these confederate nations, or this conglomerate of Islamic nations, to go down on Saudi Arabia. They hate Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has all the oil, is wealth. Their ATM disperses gold. They drive around in gold Mercedes. The wealth is from that, and God's going to destroy their wealth, and the oil's going to burn. The pitch is going to smoke is going to descend forever. And there's a lot more that I have to learn from this. This is something that, even though I gave it to you and I explained it the best that I know how, you now have to search it out. You have to search it out now. So it's brief, it's a small little teaching, and I'm just going to pray. Father, in Jesus' name, I pray you give those who are hungering and thirsting after you revelation into this. In Jesus' name. So until next time, this is Jim Stockstill saying, I want you to keep looking for the handwriting on the wall.